show. It's been a while, but today I'm going to be starting a new series called Listening for the Week. Not that inventive, surely I'll find a new name. Basically, I'm just going to be listing brilliant pieces that are either choral or classical or orchestral, blah blah blah, to widen your listening, maybe get some more knowledge with choral and classical repertoire. So yeah, I think I have 7 this week. Some of them have recordings that are just better than others. But not all of them do, so watch out for that. Number 1 is a mass setting by Jean Manglais, a French composer called Messa Solenelle. If I were you, I'd listen to the Gloucester Cathedral recording. I've only really sung the Gloria, the Sanctus and the Agnus Dei, though they are really good. The organ part is absolutely insane. It uses some really cool stops, and obviously it would be played in a big French church with a big West End organ. So yeah. Piece number 2 is another mass setting by Haydn. Haydn is a classical composer. He was Austrian, and it is rumoured that he was Mozart's piano teacher. This mass setting was called Missa Brevis Saint Joannis de Deus. That sounded very Spanish, and I'm sorry. Now, when you compare the Longlais and the Haydn, the Glorias are completely different. In the Longlais, the Gloria is really long, it's really drawn out, but it's insane. In the Haydn, it's just over a minute long. How the hell does Haydn do that? Basically what he does is he splits up the words of the creed, of the words of the Gloria, and gives them to each part. So every single part, soprano, alto, tenor and bass, have different words until cum sanctis Gloria, no, something. Yeah, basically. A third piece is by Antonio Lotti. It is one of my favourite pieces in the entire world. It's called Crucifixus. And if I were you, I'd listen to the 16 recording. You can find it on Spotify. All of these you can find on Spotify. This piece is usually performed around Easter, usually on Good Friday, because obviously clues in the name, crucifixus, crucifixion. It has 8 different parts, so soprano 1, soprano 2, alto 1 and 2, tenor 1 and 2, and bass 1 and 2. It starts as a sort of round, but also kind of not. You could call it a fugue, but it's also not a fugue. It's brilliant. What I would really recommend finding a recording on YouTube that has sheet music along, so you can follow all the different parts and how they all kind of mesh together and close off at the end. The 4th piece, I think, yes, 4, is a fantastic piece by Gregorio Allegri, called Miserere mei Deus. It is absolutely fantastic. It's a very famous piece from around Easter time in the Christian calendar. The world are asking God for mercy and all of that fancy stuff, kind of lots of petition. And there is a bit later on with a really high note that you might recognise from a few vines, a few memes. Just putting that out there. The 5th piece is insane. It's by a composer called Thomas Tallis. Thomas Tallis is a Baroque composer. He composed a lot of choral pieces. Quite a famous one of his pieces is If You Love Me. Yep. This piece is called Spem in Alium. This piece has 40 parts. 40. What the fuck? So 10 parts per, 10 parts for soprano, alto, tenor and bass, I'm guessing. It was recommended by my dad. He thinks Tallis is a genius. I'm not the biggest fan of Tallis. I don't really like anything pre-classical. But it's still, this is absolute musical genius, and I think it's really cool that he was able to kind of compose an 40-part piece for his time and have it all home together very well. The 6th piece is one of my favourite pieces of all time by a composer called Jonathan Dove, who is kind of a 20th century 19th century modern, I think. It's called Seek Him That Maketh the Seven Stars, basically. If I were you, I'd listen to the Tenebrae recording. The Tenebrae recording is beautiful. I love the way their voices blend and kind of mix. It's gorgeous. There are so many different melodies throughout, so many different kind of phrases that are very memorable. It's really beautiful, and any dove pieces are a fantastic bit of listening to do. It's not really background music though. You kind of have to immerse yourself in it and really listen and really home in on all the different parts. And another really good piece of listening for dove would be Vast Ocean of Light, which is just as brilliant, and it's very kind of whimsical and dreamy, and yeah. The last piece for this week is by John Rutter. John Rutter is my favourite composer in the entire world. I met him at South Bank and I cried. And if that doesn't tell you how much I love him, I don't know what will. The piece that I'm recommending this week for John Rutter is a lot more different than what he usually composes. There are very few pieces in this style by John Rutter. It's called Hymn to the Creator of Light. If I were you, I'd listen to the Cambridge Singers recording. I love Cambridge Singers. They sing all of John Rutter's stuff. Of course, I have to put John Rutter in here because he's lovely, he's brilliant. This piece is obviously different from the rest of it. A good comparison with this piece would be A Star Carol, which is obviously one of his Christmas pieces. There's such a huge difference between the instrumentation and the vocal parts and the melodies and all the different harmonies in both pieces. While you could describe Hymn to the Creator of Light as quite a modern, very... It's a bit weird. it's really modern, but and then describing kind of A Star Carol as very dreamy and kind of Disney-esque. It's really nice, but that would be a good piece of listening. The entirety of the Christmas album by John Rutter, but then also Hymn to the Creator of Light and also The Falcon by John Rutter is equally brilliant. It has 3 movements in it and they're just fantastic. So I had to record the rest on here because it's not working. I hope you enjoyed that cute little video. I'll do another one next week, and then the one next week will be mostly orchestral music, kind of an introduction, but also a couple of my favourites. Quite a lot of it will be film scores, just a warning, because I'm a child. Yeah. Feel free to mix it up, broaden your listening. Hope you enjoyed. See you all next week.